I'm probably most proud of my family, my son.
The big games, the big moments in those games is what drives me to put in the hours in training.
And also the cash.
You need to develop good skill, good strength, good nutrition, good sports science, and then really be able to increase the loads to develop the best athletes.
I'd say it's 80% physical. The last 20% is purely mental.
You can't out-train a poor diet, and I think that kind of neatly sums up the balance between health, fitness and nutrition for me.
We need to make sure that we're fueling his bodies with the correct things, and you know, it's like a racing car really. If you're putting the wrong fuel in the car, it's not going to run correctly. I've been playing at Bradford now for 13 seasons. I think first got scouted when I was about 12, 13 year old, and you know, I went to a lot of different clubs, but Bradford felt like my home, and I've loved every minute of it since then. So every time I pull the jersey on at weekends, you know, it means a lot to me to be able to do that, and you know, I'd love to continue to play at Bradford for the remainder of my career.
Being part of the team, you get a chance to compete daily with your teammates and bring the best out in each other. The successes you have, you get to share, and that's massively important for us.
You have the banter with the lads, the coaches, and I think that's one of the most enjoyable things about being part of a team, really. And I think that's one of the things you miss the most when you finish playing.
Yeah, it's a great career to have, to be able to you know, spend every day with your best mates and get paid to do what you love.
When I first came into the game as a young player, I think the lads used to go out probably once or twice a week, guaranteed to go out on the booze and have a drink, and you know, diets weren't really talked about too much and things like that. I think when I first started the club, they used to have a gold card for McDonald's. Yeah, so like nowadays, obviously, you know, there's a lot of focus on making sure your body's in the best physical shape it can be. You know, we're getting body fat tested all the time and things like that, so you've got to be on top of your diet, and alcohol's got to be kept to a minimum, and it has changed a lot over the years.
Our sport's very extreme, you push your body to the limits all the time. It's just take those windows of opportunity to refuel at the right time, straight after your gym, straight after exercise.
We need to make sure that we're fueling his bodies with the correct things, and you know, it's like a racing car really. If you're putting the wrong fuel in the car, it's not going to run correctly, and that's what our body's like. We've got to make sure that we're putting the right food in there, the right supplements, to make sure that we can turn up to training every day being fully recovered, and we can rip into training, and in game days, you know, being full of energy. And with KINETICA, we know we've got that.
What really matters is to make my kids proud of me. I want to leave a legacy for them, and they can look back and be proud of their dad and what he's achieved.
What matters for me, yeah, is just to look back on my career. I think when I'm older, maybe 30, 40 years time, and be able to sit down with my kids and my grandkids and maybe show them a few medals and show them a few photographs, and say, you know, I used to be pretty decent in my day, and hopefully I'll be able to do that one day.
Yeah, get the best out of my body and just you know, like the other boys, be able to tell a few yarns in a couple of years of, you know, how many grand finals I won and all the championships I won.
I define success as winning, full stop, nothing else, not being second, not being third, but being top of the pile.
So much sense.
Yeah,
you're always going to say
that.
Next question, maybe.
What I'm most proud about would be playing for Hampshire. I grew up here as a youngster, and to play with 7, 8 guys I grew up with means a lot to me. And you know, I've trained a lot with my dad when I was younger as well, so his hard yards has sort of paid off as well.
Get the old man in there. What's most proud for me is it's something, you know, since the age of 10 or 11 we've always wanted to do. So to get the chance to do it, you know, on a regular basis, day in, day out, it's proud walking out there to each game and, you know, knowing that your family and that are watching you.
Playing in front of crowds, I'd say that's the biggest buzz I get from playing cricket.
The main thing is success. like to be walking out onto the park and to win trophies we've been lucky to do in the last couple of years. I've been a Hampshire boy since I was under 10s now, so I've been here for all the age groups. So just to step out onto the field wearing a Hampshire shirt is a great pleasure of mine, not only for me but I'm sure for my family as well. What motivates me personally to succeed is knowing that there could be a potential England call-up around the corner. So I'm working as hard as I can in the winters and the summers to perform here at Hampshire, but obviously the highest goal will be to play for England.
The big games, the big moments in those games is what drives me to put in the hours in training and be a part of that.
You know, all the hard yards training and that for the big day, finals day, things like that, you know, with the big crowds in, and also the cash. I think it's important we feel ourselves right, because in cricket we don't often get a huge amount of time in between games, and obviously playing 4 days at once and going straight into another game, all the little things we can do in terms of protein and recovery shakes, I think makes a big difference.
It gives you the best chance to perform. So we've obviously had a link up with KINETICA now, and they've given us loads of different proteins and bars and recovery shakes, so they're only going to help us get better as cricketers.
In the last 5-10 years it's starting to be taken a lot more seriously, and I think you're seeing the benefits. International cricket, people staying fitter and stronger for longer.
We come off the park, we played 6 hours and the body needs some sort of refuelling, so having KINETICA to help us is only going to make us a better outfit.
It's knowing that I'm doing everything off the field to make sure I'm good on the field. If that's hydration, if that's protein, whatever it is, I like to get it in me to make sure that when I get on the field I'm going at 100%. I would say winning does always matter. For me, if I look at other things in life, I always remember those who won. I don't remember the person who came second or third. Cricket's a team sport. You know, you can have a bad day on the field, but you can still win 2 trophies. Even the greats have all had those times when they've had to deal with adversity and stuff like that. So you sort of relate to them in that way, and just get on with it, I guess.
There's plenty of moments in cricket when you're going to have lows, and there's going to be a couple of people that have had good days. So it's important, if you have had a good day, that you recognise the people that maybe haven't, and try and pick them up.
Being in a team environment is very important. If you personally are not doing so well, it's a lot easier to pick yourself up if there's 11 other guys out there sort of right behind you.
Here at Hampshire we set our sights really high, so if we have a few bad moments and we know there's still potentially going to be trophies at the end of it, like last year you go through moments where you're losing games, but we ended up winning 2 trophies. So I think if you just stick in there and carry on trying to win games, there's something always good at the end of it.
If I was to give any advice, I think there's always someone that will want it. So if you're not quite on the ball and giving it everything, there will be someone just behind you that wants it a bit more than you. So you've got to be on your toes the whole time and doing everything you can to stay ahead.
For me, I always sort of try and live by the quote, always be happy and never be satisfied. So try and always play with a smile on your face, but always strive for more, because there's always someone out there a bit better than you are.
Being a powerlifter for me, it's the whole process of training and getting stronger. So, being the strongest bloke in the room. For the last 5 years, I'd say I've been probably the top lifter in my weight class in this country. To win a World Championships is something in my weight division, 83 kilos, has not been done for 35 years by an English guy. Something I've always wanted to win. Is obviously hard. You're competing against 60 other countries with lifters who all want to win the same thing. So yeah, it is tough. I'd say it's 80% physical. The last 20% is purely mental. In powerlifting, you're talking about 4 times body weight squats, 3 times body weight bench presses. So You have to be mentally prepared to take that challenge on. You know, there's a massive fear of failure. If it goes wrong, you're in quite a bit of trouble with them kind of weights. Fueling me nutritionally is obviously 90% of the time, you know, high protein, you know, low carb. For lifting, low carb is quite good. You don't use a great deal of glycogen when you lift. You know, you're talking about single reps, 2 reps, 3 reps, nothing really much more than that. You need quite a bit of caffeine. I'm most proud of the European Championships I won last year, and just before they changed the weight classes, I broke a 20-year-old record, a British record, that now is a historical record, so no one can now break that record. That's mine forever. I'd like to win World Championships. I'd like to retain my European Championship this year in May. I think I might be a better lifter at 93 from 83. So it's quite 10 kilos is a big jump. I trialled it this winter and broke 3 British records. To be a world champion at 93 versus 83 kilos is probably about 50 to 70 kilos difference in the total weight lifted in the competition. So that would mean me having to squat 370 kilos, 380 kilos, bench press 270 kilos and deadlift 330 maybe. Them kind of weights genuinely do scare me. The fear of like failing with them weights is quite high, and obviously the risk associated with that with injuries. If I want to be a world champion, then that's what I have to do. Pushing your body to the limits is elite sport. You rarely get to a high level in any sport without going over that line of training, overtraining, overuse injuries, all that kind of stuff. It comes with the territory, really. My competition and my biggest challenge, the weights that you lift, they're all based around what the other guy can lift. So your challenge is to try and work harder and train smarter and train harder than the next guy, but you don't know what he's doing. You just try and be the best you can be all the time.
The approach for Triathlon Ireland is pretty simple really. We find the best talent we can in Ireland and then we systematically look to develop the athlete. We believe it's about producing senior athletes, robust athletes, and so we bring in the resources like good nutrition, good sports science and good medicine around those athletes as well. Athletes like Aileen Morrison and Brian Keane particularly have an individualised programme. The junior programme is more of an education type programme and a centralised programme to develop the best athletes. It's going through phases. You need to develop good skill, good strength, and then really be able to increase the load. So that's the philosophy. Our strength and conditioning coach Martin McCarthy, Deirdre Bell the physio, and we do a lot of rehab to make sure they're in a position to start training correctly. We can also supplement by hypoxic stimulants, so we can put them in places like the Altitude Training House down in Limerick, or we can use tents to continue to try stimulate a high level of fitness or hold on to a level of condition while they're injured. So that's what we're doing. We do a lot of aqua jogging, we do a lot of Ultra-G treadmill running to take the weight off the load, and diet around that is really important. The real challenge was initially is creating a belief that you can actually produce world-class athletes, and with Con Doherty coming through and getting a junior world medal, that was a great testament to the work that the junior coaches have done. And then obviously Gavin's performance at the Games and Aileen Morrison at the London qualification process, coming second in the world at one point, was huge. Brian's a late developer, and I think the good thing in a small NGB like Triathlon Ireland is you can be flexible and you can allow someone who's a late developer a little bit more investment. And obviously his second in Ishigaki this year is a huge performance. I think success, after you've been nearly in a fatal car accident. Success was just getting back to international racing and to make history and be the first male Irish athlete to stand on a world podium, then that's success. Yeah. His calorific intake wouldn't be strictly managed, but he would have an awareness, and he would do the normal food diaries to actually balance out exactly what he does need and doesn't need. But the key that's more important is actually understands his recovery strategies, and he's very, very good at that, of actually understanding how to recover prior to the workouts, to keep the balance of the training load, and also to stay healthy. That's the key. Brian Keane uses a lot of carbohydrate, and we use gels particularly all the time. We're refueling in that side all the time, and then instantly after the hard workouts we're looking at the protein type shakes that we use, and we use those regular all the time. So they're built in, they're just part of what happens around a normal training day, really. Recovery is as important as the most important session of the week, and that's all we talk about all the time. Recovery is the key session. Anybody can rock up and do a high intense session, but it's actually being able to back them up week after week and actually keep as healthy as possible. So the recovery strategies, they're just key to the whole program. We look very carefully at the nutrition prior to the hard intensity, and we look at the recovery and regeneration of athletes, so it plays a huge part. For the club athletes, it's pretty crucial to keep that balance between what they're doing as a hobby and things. As a senior pro athlete, it just maximises performance. Creating a coaching legacy where there are now Irish coaches working in Ireland. There is definitely an opportunity for young athletes in Ireland. So the whole structure and system would probably give me more satisfaction than the odd performance. And we've had some great performances, but you should celebrate all the performances really. They've all been good. I just think it's about learning, continually learning and enjoying what you do. And I meet some great people. I'm fortunate to work with some very good athletes, and just continue to develop. And that's really, the detail for me is important. And as long as I keep learning about the detail and seeing athletes improve, and I develop myself as a coach, then that's what's important.
What matters to me for playing for a club like London Irish is started playing here when I was about 15 years old, and that's where I started enjoying the game. And it's nice to come back, and it's refreshed me in my career because it reminds me of when I was a youngster trying to fight for a place in the Pro League.
I've been here 10 years now, and what's mattered most to me is being at a club that plays a style of rugby that really suits me. We like to throw the ball around, we like to score tries, and for me playing my position on the wing is perfect, so it's been a really good fit.
Being part of a club like London Irish is important to me because my family's from Irish roots. My father particularly, he came over to England when he was 16, so he sees it as a way for me pulling on the green shirt. He was one day hoping for me to play for Ireland, but I went for England, so for playing for London Irish is like a second thing for him. You set yourself goals at the beginning of one season and try and achieve those. Just some players it's playing for their country, for others it's starting for your club.
Personally, I've been fortunate enough to play at the highest level, and I have won a few bits at London Irish, so that's been really good. I provide for my family, which is a massive thing, and I get to do a job which is a dream for me really. It's something that I love. Real achievements are a sense of self-worth. I think it's trying to prove yourself and work hard to be the best player you can be. Without your teammates, you're nothing pretty much. I mean, every individual success you get is down to what your teammates do, and rugby is such a team-orientated sport, and if a few guys aren't pulling their weight, the whole team's going to fall apart. You are all relying on each other, and everyone puts their body on the line week in, week out, and if someone's not right on the day, that can cost you a game.
If you have people out on their own programme, then it's going to show on the pitch. Come game time, if you're not together 1 to 15, 1 to 23 as a whole squad, then you're more than likely not going to win. It's going to be clear for all to see. From a young age, playing rugby, you did it for fun. I guess I'm very lucky and in a way proud I've actually achieved that and doing what I love.
But I'm probably most proud of my family, my son. He's my world now essentially.
Most proud of representing my country. I think that was a great achievement. being here 10 years as well is something that I'm quite proud of as well. Not many players get to say that they stayed at one club for a long period of time, and being the all-time try scorer as well is a record that I've got this year.
Hopefully you can look back one day and say, I gave everything I've got, and your family can be proud of you and your children, and yeah, you can just be happy at the end of it.
I've enjoyed everything that I've done in rugby so far, and hopefully I'll continue to do so.
I think what matters to me about being a personal trainer is helping my clients to understand and keep the principles of health simple.
What matters to me about being a nutritionist is being able to help people be better in terms of health and fitness and other outcomes. The best way to measure yourself is on the sort of happiness and performance of your clients.
If you're a good coach, it's about your clients, not about you. You can't out-train a poor diet, and that's one of my mantras which I use with all my clients, and I think that kind of neatly sums up the balance between, you know, health, fitness and nutrition for me. I think what matters about fueling my body physically is focusing on progress rather than sort of aiming for perfection. I think you're going to recognise that you're going to have times where you fall off the rails a bit, but as long as the sort of trend's going in the right direction, I think that's probably the most important lesson I've learned.
The thing that matters to me most about fueling your body nutritionally is finding the correct fuel mix for your particular level of activity. There's a lot of misinformation out there on the right balance of macronutrients you need to both be well and also perform at an elite level.
Career-wise, I guess I was pretty proud when I got my master's degree, because I sort of self-funded myself through that, which was really hard whilst working as well.
Some of my proudest achievements are getting married to my wife.
See, if he says that and I don't say that, I'm going to get panned by my wife.
It's got to be honest.
He knows how to get brownie points.
Some of the proudest professional moments are when either a team or an athlete does really well and either medals at the Olympics or wins a world championship of some description. One of the things that's in vogue at the moment is called intermittent fasting. And this is something that you do whereby you may go for periods of the day where you eat very little or nothing at all, and then you take the majority of your calories within a defined time period. And ideally you do some kind of exercise before you then take on the higher calorie load. In the right individual, this can be quite beneficial for favourably altering body composition. In the wrong type of person that's not ready for it probably would be detrimental to their performance.
Within fitness, the hot topics at the moment are, one would be functional training. The idea that what we try to do in fitness and training when we practice has a carryover into everyday life. So we make the moves and the techniques that we do, the exercises, more relevant to our population groups. So it might be pushing, pulling, twisting, lifting something. If you're a sportsman, you make the training try and not replicate exactly, but support the actual skills of the sport. The landscape in fitness and nutrition is changing and evolving. So I try to be honest with my clients, and this is what I believe right now. And if they want to work with me and if they want, my advice and consultancy, you have to have a belief system, and this is what I believe right now. Because otherwise, you're going to end up in ambivalence with your clients who just don't really know which direction to take.
You have to give your best and most honest answer based on the available science at the time that you're giving the advice. And actually part of that is not being so sticking to your beliefs that you think that's the only way, but you're presenting the available information to the client so that they can make an informed choice. Always try and have a little bit of fun every day. Try and keep the inner wolf strong. Don't get too domesticated. Stay strong.
Every athlete has goals. To achieve each one of those, no matter what it is, that defines success for me personally. But also every team you get on, those teams have goals as well. Just by coming in, working hard, and just making me better. As I make my teammates better, my team also makes me better.
I think playing and just enjoying the game so far has been the biggest motivation for me to play basketball, and success has come from me enjoying it and working hard.
Motivation is always going to be the end product, hopefully, is winning trophies at the end of the season, but you can never be too sure, so motivation is still making sure that we improve, and if we get medals out of it, that's always a bonus.
It's just one challenge when it comes with all this winning, is that you got a target on your back now, so everyone wants to beat you, no matter if it's the best team or the worst team. Everyone, they gear up their whole season to play the Leicester Riders and want to beat us, so you can't take a day off and be like, oh, this team not this good, oh, we're hyped, so we're going to win this one for sure. But every team is going to play their best basketball against us, and that's the only challenge we got. Me being better than Barry is successful.
Making sure I'm better than Jay.
No, that would never happen. What motivates me is just the opportunity of winning, being at the top.
Once you're at the top, it's more motivating. You want to stay at the top rather than trying to get to the top, which is, I find, probably a hard thing to do.
I want to win every game from here on out.
That sums it all. We still trying to win every game, take every game one at a time. You know, we just trying to take care of our business, win every game, and go in the playoffs strong.
Yeah.
Nutrition to me, definitely very important. I found over the years that nutrition is really it changes my mood if I eat well, in a good mood, good spirit, and I know that keeping on top of my nutrition is important for me to play basketball.
You got a long season. We play up to 50 games a year, so after every game you got to get your nutrition in, because if you don't get your nutrition in, you will break down throughout the end of the season.
Protein's huge for us. I mean, altogether protein helps us, and it stops all the pain the next day, which really helps.
I think I overdo protein with the vanilla caramel milkshakes.
They're good,
vanilla caramel?
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. You know.
I think it's just grinding out those tough games. A lot of the time it's to do obviously with skill and tactical, but a lot of we're a lot fitter than most of the teams in the league, if not all the teams. When it comes down to that crunch time at the end of the game, we're still going at full speed, and it shows at the end of the games.
If you want to win, it's a team game, so you got to make other people better around you as well.
Failure is in the mind and success is in the heart. So, you know, like I said, the harder you work, the more you get.
Vanilla caramel.
Strawberry?
Vanilla caramel.
Yeah, shout out to vanilla caramel.
Chocolate?
Shout out to vanilla caramel.
Banana?
For me personally, this year has been fantastic. Coming from the Championship, the division below for me, up to the Premiership, the pace of the game was a lot faster, and this is something that you have to pick up very quickly. We had a good pre-season for that, and so I feel like I've handled it well.
Defining success is always difficult. I suppose as a team, it's where you finish in the league. Personally, I like to define it on performance, really, how I've played on that day or how I've trained that day.
In an athlete environment where I'm working with team sports, I think success is all about what you actually win, like what medals that your athletes actually get. Do they come first, second? That's really how I define success, is what the success of the athlete is.
It comes down to winning. We're in a very results-based business, and if you don't win, you don't get results. Unfortunately, there's something wrong with your machine, so results are very, very important, and winning is what we do it for.
I have a job that is not only rewarding to myself, but rewards people around me. I wake up in the mornings and I'm working with people who are motivated, who are driven. I get to feed off that energy. So I view myself successful because I'm happy. Now if that doesn't get out of bed in the morning, what does?
For me, I've always said that failure is in the mind and success is in the heart, and to me that's what I stick to. So I believe that, as long as you do what you need to do on and off the court, and success will find its way to you.
One of the biggest challenges I've had to face in the last year was competing in Las Vegas. Taking your body fat down to extremely low levels, being on low calories for a very long period of time is difficult, very, very hard. But hey, toughest challenges lead to the best rewards. So winning my pro card in Las Vegas is one of the proudest moments of the last few years.
E Company is one of the hardest and most physically demanding courses in the British Army. And way back then, I only weighed about 52 kilograms, and everybody sort of like looked at me and thought, you'll never do that. So for me, that was a real physical challenge to actually get that done, and I'm really proud of sort of achieving that.
I enjoy like when it's too hard, when I'm really like pushing myself past the limits, and I guess that's what's motivated me to get to the point where I'm at now, which is the fact that it's not easy, and I like that. I like a challenge.
Fueling the body is a huge part of what we do week in, week out, before and after game, before and after training. It's all of kind of a vital component to how we play.
Nutrition, I think, is a big chunk of how we perform, how we are able to recover in time for the next event, for the next game. And then nutrition for me is a very, very big portion of how I want to get the best out for myself and for my team.
One of the biggest things that I like about, say for example, KINETICA for the products they give is I quite like doing a lot of different stuff. So I'll have a specific type of product that I'll take if I'm going to go through a strength phase, because that will help augment performance a lot better. Equally, if I'm going to do endurance, then my nutrition will slightly change. So it's really important, especially when you're trying to eke out the last sort of like 1 or 2%, when you really want to make a difference. That's when nutrition, especially supplementation, really comes into its own.
Nutrition's huge. I used to take it for granted, and I found that it had effect on my sleeping, my energy levels, and just kind of my overall attitude towards this game. But when I eat right, sleep right, and I get enough fluids, I can be the person that I can really be on the court.
KINETICA starts with that, with everything we get supplied through Robbie Palmer, our strength and conditioner, gets us set for the game at the weekend.